In this video, we're going to show ways to add more security in our climbing of third and fourth class terrain, much like we were showing in previous videos. But now we're going to implement the consequence versus likelihood of a fall happening into this video so that you can understand when you might employ one method versus another. We'd like to start the conversation with approaches to the climb. Although overlooked, they do have some consequential terrain. Here, Meg is modeling good footwork and pacing her guest through the path of least resistance in this terrain. If we do these skills well, we will conserve energy for the harder climbing to come. In doing this, we're mitigating risk, and we're also giving everybody a more enjoyable experience.
To provide a little bit more security as we move through third class terrain, I'll maybe offer my climber a spot. So as we're moving up through a little bit of a steeper section, I want to have a strong stance, and I'm going to brace myself here below the climber, protecting any slips that they might have from becoming a fall until they get to a more comfortable position higher up. Good?
Good. When providing a spot is no longer appropriate in some of the terrain, we'll implement the rope to provide more security to our seconds. Here I'll demonstrate the hand belay and talk a little bit about its pluses and minuses. So it's a fast transition, so we can keep moving pretty quickly, but it's not meant to hold a fall. So this is really, again, just providing a little bit of an assurance when moving through third class terrain as opposed to stopping a fall. Right. So I'll demonstrate here. I'll brace my leg on a flat stance, and then as our climber moves into this terrain, I'm keeping a firm grip on the rope and making sure that the rope coming from me to my partner is nice and snug. Awesome. Now that we're in a good flat spot, we can start moving up in the terrain again. The next level of providing security to our climbers is going to be called the shoulder belay. This is ideal for easy fourth class, harder third class sections of rock where the climbers come up to a flat ledge. That means that our flat ledge will be the rock that I brace my body on, and that will provide the strength for this anchor. As I pull up the rope, I'll place it around my shoulder, and underneath of the shoulder, that is where my leg is providing the support from. So I want to have this rope as close to in line with my leg as possible, and that's going to provide the strength. If I went just around my neck, if my climber were to slip, that would be really hard to hold this position. So again, around the armpit of the braced leg, position in place on a nice flat surface, and then have your climber come on up. Meg, come on up. As Meg gets up to this flat spot in a more secure setting, we'll have her sit over here, providing the security, and then continue to move on in our terrain. As we continue in the anchor progression to provide security to our climbers, we can often use what's referred to as a hip belay to add more security than the shoulder belay. In order to do that, we'll pull the rope up till it's tight to our climber. I like to step underneath of the rope and then brace myself in a seated position with my braced leg being in the direction of my climber. Ideally, we want to get the rope as parallel again with the leg to provide the holding power needed for this technique. Meg, you can come on up. A little tech tip here. When I'm belaying, I'm also constantly thinking about where I want to place my climber when they arrive to the belay. Here, I'll add more security by having Meg sit in the terrain as I move to my next step. In this series, the next progression of security for our climber and ourselves is to create a stance with an anchor. So we'll still be belaying off of our body, but the anchor will secure us to the mountain. Oftentimes we'll use one cam and connect ourselves to that cam with a clove hitch. From there, we'll pull the rope up. Going to our climber and give them a belay using a munter hitch. So you can come on up. What this does is put the anchor and myself in line with the climber and provides security. As the climber comes into the stance, we can clip them in. All right, you good there? Mm-hmm. All right, hang on to something for me. To the anchor as well, and secure them. Talk about a shift in our anchors now, where instead of using our body, we'll start to use rocks or camming units in order to protect ourselves and our climbers. So here we'll show the horn belay, which is also just called a terrain belay, where we wrap the rope around a feature that has an in-cut portion in the back to make sure that our rope doesn't slide up and is also solid and well connected to the earth. So as I place my rope around this horn, I'll then belay, much like I would with a plate or a munter hitch, to bring my second up into the train. As our second climber gets closer to the belay, we'll anchor them off by placing coils around this horn so that we can move into the next level of terrain. So the final belay method that provides the most amount of security is just our standard Alpine anchor. Normally that's 2 pieces of gear equalized with a carabiner to provide the strength of an anchor as well as the belay. So what we normally will do is we'll clip into 2 pieces and then clove hitch ourselves into the anchor to provide a stance. And then we can also bring the rope up clip ourselves into the anchor and then provide the belay for our second. All right, you're on belay. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series progression of managing risk in 3rd and 4th class terrain. Remember, as consequence or likelihood increases, we can employ different tools and techniques to create more safe situations in the mountains.